Today is the 1st of June 2012, and we have a retreat at Eden Retreat. And yesterday, after the orientation, we are talking about some topic we will cover in this retreat. But first of all, I told you yesterday, we are living in a dream, and that's the reason why it has many different phenomena in life, and we don't know the both sides of that, and then we get trapped in that dream state, and from that it called the obstruction, it called the disease, it called the unhappiness, etc. For example, as you see on the picture, from the top of our head to the tip of our toe, all of our body we cover by the layer of the skin outside, like a protective layer, right? And then we bring in the energy from the universe through the most important, actually not important, the most regularly way, through our mouth, right? But we have many other ways to bring in the energy from the universe, and we will learn later on. And also we have the other way, it's very important, that means through our nose. And usually we think that the food we eat is more important because we can see it, we can taste it, right? And then it is a solid material. And then we not recognize that the energy going through our nose, that is the air, what we call. But behind the air, we have another kind of energy. It's much more subtle, much more important. And this is the entrance for that energy to get through our body. For many decades ago, or even though right now, as you know, some people, some population still can live without any food, right? So this is the first two entrances to bring the energy from the universe into our body. But it's also the gate for us to input the toxin if we don't know how to recognize, how to input it properly. And in nature, what we call the creator, after a million of years, already built up the body of the human being as an advanced animal, right? So it has its own capacity to regulate, to monitor, to heal, to transform. All of that feature, we have it. Every one of us has full capacity. But because we not learn how to recognize, how to use that feature properly. Think about that. Early in the morning, you stay in your bedroom, right? With the air, clean air, with the warm temperature. When you explode out to the window with the cold air, or when you walk out on the street with the smoke, with the dust, or with the pollen, what happened? The eye, the tear coming out. From the nose, the fluid coming out. Right? So why that happened? Because that is the reaction of our body to protect itself. Beside the layer of the skin, outside the mucous membrane, inside That means the protected layer to protect our body, the first defense level. But whenever our body exposed to anything in the environment, in the food we eat, in the drink we drink, okay, if it considered no good for itself, it automatically secretes what we call the body fluid. Depend on where is that. On the eye, the tear coming out. In the nose, the fluid coming out. In the mouth, it coming out. In the ear, right? The same thing happens inside our digestive system. Again, because we not learn, we not know how to recognize that, especially internally. Now go back to the externally. We see it very clear, right? When we expose to the smoke, to the cold air, to the too hot air, to the pollen, to the dirt, etc. The first exposure, the body fluid be secreted, very thin, very liquid. But the more we expose to that, the more reaction to be stimulated, and the body to secrete more and more fluid. And that fluid layer, the first step, is there like a protective layer to block that substance to penetrate into our body, right? And it also plays a role as the shield and liquidate to pour out all of that substance, to eliminate it out. The tear go up, all of the dirt, all the smoke out the eyes, the fluid in the nose, take all that out. In the mouth, sometimes we have infection or we had a sputum. The first is very liquid, after that it becomes more sticky, right? So the same thing in here. The more we expose to that environment, the more we expose to the food or the drink, our body will react more and the fluid will come out more and more. And after that, it becomes thicker, more sticky. So now, instead of first time, it is a benefit, but now it turns to the other side. No good. Why is that? Because now it's not only to make the wall thicker, it also because it's more stickier. So now all that substance, instead of being poured out, kicked out our body, now it gets stuck in that mucus membrane, in that layer. So the same thing happens on the nose, in the eye, in our mouth, in the throat, and especially it's much more important in the digestive system. Because in the food we eat, in the drink we drink, it has many toxins in there, many chemicals in there, especially nowadays in the vegetable, in the industrial pre-made food. We have preservative, we have chemical, we have color, we have everything in that. So what happened next? The law of attraction, you know that, right? It will come in from the material level to a very minor level. From the material level, what I mean, for example, as we already know, every single substance, every single cell becomes tied by many molecules, by many atoms. So that's the chemical structure, right? So it will attract to each other by the ion force, by the electrical force, by the magnetic force, by the energy force. So when all that substance gets stuck in the mucus layer inside our body, all that substance gets stuck in there. At first, it's very tiny, one in here, one over there. Again, the law of abstraction occurs inside the body to bring all that together. And it also extracts from the outside in the environment. So that's why that first, for the smoker, the first time when you smoke, you don't feel good, right? You may have a reaction. The first time you take a ring, you don't feel good, you don't like it. It's because the body already reacts at the first moment. But because we override that message from our body, because of the illusion, right? Or for example, when we eat meat, barbecue with a lot of ingredient additive, right? Spicy. If you pay attention when we eat that one, at first we may have a reaction, the mucus come out, and we cough or the tear coming out. But and then we just keep exposed to that. We override the message from our own protected level. And from that, it gets into our body. When it gets into our body, the law of attraction comes in, and okay, it draws all of that particle together. And then from that, it will draw from the outside. So make we get used to that. The mechanism continue to get what? Adaptable. Right? So most of the living thing, even a tree, a low animal, the advanced animal like us, it have a more capacity to adapt to a new environment. So again, to adapt to a new environment, it still has a good side and bad side. Good side, that means it gets used to the new environment, new toxin. But and then when more toxin get into our body, the law of attraction come in and draw it together. It may become some stone. That cycle just keep repeating and repeating. It makes we feel more drawn to the food we eat, the drink we drink, the environment we live in. So if we expose to that for a long time, the mechanism of secretion, the mucous membrane, no longer can take care of that. So now the muscle come in place. Because first it had a fan of the mucous layer, but that fence cannot limit, cannot block, cannot eliminate all of the stone, all of the bad thing out of the body. So now the layer of the muscle stronger get involved. It will wrap over. So that is what we call the polyp, the tumor. And when that happens, it will block the movement of the substance inside the tube, right? All of our body. It will look in the chest cavity, in the digestive cavity, in the stomach, in the liver, in the gallbladder, even though in every single cell we have an empty space for the energy to flow, right? And in the cell membrane we have some transportation hole to transport the substance, the nutrition in and out, the toxin in and out, and etc. But if it keeps get blocked and blocking, so the transportation way now become blocked. The energy cannot get in. We don't have enough energy to work. We feel tired, right? The toxin cannot get out to be eliminated. The toxic level right now, it will damage our immune system. We feel more tired. So that is one example. The other thing, as I told you this morning, our body have a many different levels. We usually see we have a big body with the muscle, with the bone, with the skin, with all that, right? But this body can do nothing without energy, without fuel, right? Like we have a car, the car cannot run without the gas or the energy. So what is the energy to pull for all of this mechanical machine to move, to work? That is the ATP, or the energy from the physiological body. We eat meat, we eat bread, we eat sugar. All that has to be break down and burned, right? And it provides energy for our mechanical body work. So that second body, the physiology level, still not the main guy to conduct.
Sorry, could you just say that word again? The second body, the what level? I didn't hear.
The physiology. Physiology.
Physiology. Thank you.
But the next level, kind of the main one to conduct all of the activity in our body, that's the brain. And from that central nervous system, it will send out the whole message throughout our body. It's the same like we have the way we wire for all the applicant, all the equipment in our house. If we open a cassette, the computer board, the main board, you see how they wire on the electric wire, right? In our body, the nerve system will send through the whole body, from the big one to the small one, and then surrounding that, cover that by a very, very thin layer, what we call myelin. Think about it like we have a wire, and to cover that, we use the plastic or the rubber outside that, right? If we overuse, that means the capacity of that only 5 ampere, but the equipment 5.5 or 6 ampere. When we use an equipment over the capacity of the power, what happens? It will heat it up, the temperature right up, right? If we use that closely, maximum capacity of that, it may rise up the temperature, and it will cause the damage of the protective layer outside. That is the rubber or the plastic layer outside of the wire. The same thing in our body. You see, when we under stress, when we overwork, when we be under any tension, or when we be toxic by the toxin we eat in our food or in our drink, the electrical force of all the electron moving in the nerve, now it will rebound or it overwhelmed. So that means it drives up the temperature. When the temperature in our body, especially in the nerve system, dries up, we feel more temper, more hot. It will become hotter, right? So especially when you feel upset or angry, you see it right away, right? The messenger or the electron moving around the nerve now be blocked, so the current dry up, the temperature dry up. When it happens continually, slowly it will damage the protective layer outside the nerve. And what happens next? If we have all the electrical wire in our house stay close together and it not ventilate good enough, the heat not be ventilated and it just keep build up the heat, it will damage on the rubber layer from one wire to the other, and it will mess up. Sometimes the fuse bomb, shut down completely the circuit, right? The same thing in here. When that happens often, regularly, if we not recognize that, it will damage the small nerve first, and then slowly it will damage the bigger one and the bigger one. The second mechanism of that, as we know, when we eat in the food, we drink in the ring, it has a lot of toxin and all that is chemical. If we not know how to minimize that, we not know how to eliminate that, to detox our body, it not only flow inside the blood vessel, inside the nerve, it also gets stuck in the interspace between the cell, between the muscle, and between the nerve. Like you have two wires like this. If the protective layer, the rubber, it melts out, and you have some dust or aluminum, copper, anything can conduct the electricity, it will make it burn out, right? Faster, easier. So if in the food we eat has a lot of chemical, a lot of toxin, it will block the interspace between the nerve, make it become more and easier to be damaged. The third mechanism, as you know that if we consume a lot of animal product, protein, the gas building up inside of our intestinal tract, especially for people who don't have the regular bowel movement, the gas will build up inside of this tube. And you know that gas is much more potent than the gas in the kitchen. Have you ever smelled the gas in the kitchen when it's leaking? When it leaks in the kitchen or in the bathroom or in the heater, only a small amount, and it be diluted with the air in that room. And we just only sniff that, only a few seconds, a few minutes. We feel dizzy, we feel headache, we feel stressed, uneasy, right? How about that gas? The gas build up inside our intestine. It's much strong and concentrate more than the gas leaking in the kitchen. And it will penetrate through the intestinal layer, membrane. And you know, the nerve system everywhere in our body. So that gas will damage the protective layer, make the nerve become more sensitive. the transportation of the messenger become messed up. That's why the people who don't have a regular bowel movement, who consume a lot of protein or animal product, usually have a pain more often than people eat vegetable or less protein. And then also, when that messes up the neural system, the messenger or the message from the headquarters, the central nervous system, down to every single organ be messed up. The signal instead of go to the heart, ask the heart to regulate the heartbeat, maybe to slow down when we are agitation, or to beat up faster when we feel under stress, cold temperature. But and then it's sent to the liver, or it's sent to the stomach. It stimulates the liver or the stomach, make the liver have to work more, make the stomach secrete more acid, and then it will damage the stomach layer on the esophagus. Sometimes it will go in the wrong direction, and it makes some antibody to against our body. You see, right now we have two extremes more than in the middle. If we are live in the middle way, we listen to our body and the both system, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic, can balance itself. So we live in harmony, we live in peaceful and in well, healthy state. But because right now, okay, always go to two extremes. Either we have immunosuppression, that means our immune system cannot defend to the external stimuli, like the virus, the bacteria, and other things. Even though for internally, the blockage of the energy, the bacteria build up inside our intestinal tract, and the toxic build up in our body, it still cannot defend. On the other hand, it will stimulate too much because the message is going in the wrong place and the wrong time. Now it stimulates too much, and then it makes our body to find continually, and it secrete, it makes antibody to against our own tissue. That's what we call the autoimmune disease. And now we have a lot of that problem too. And also from that, we look at another aspect. More and more people have allergy, right? Some food, some environment, we live, we eat before, no problem. But now, we become more sensitive. Our body becomes more sensitive and defend more. Why is that? Because it always goes too extreme, but it don't know how to regulate, how to balance itself. And also that message telling us the whole system be blocked, and it has no way to eliminate through the regular system. Most of the time, whenever we eat anything, we drink anything, if our body consider good or no good, the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas is the first one, especially the liver is the headquarters of the digestive system and the local immune system. It has to not only secrete the enzyme, the digestive fluid, to taking care of the substance we eat or we drink, to transform that into the nutrition for our body. It also have to transform all toxic substance, like the medicine we took, like the chemical we ate in the food, in the drink. It has to transform that into the less toxic substance before it eliminate out through this way or through the kidney, through the skin. Right? So that is the way to eliminate the toxin in our body. But because we expose to the toxin too much and the body secretes too much the mucus, now it almost blocks all the regular way. So now it have to, you have to push out all the waste. So on the face, on the skin, wherever it can push it out. And secondly, it will power the condition of the liver be under overworking or overstimulation. Like for example, myself, when I was young, I taking care of my own, I taking care of my family member. I also try to help the community as many as possible, right? So when I very healthy, very energetic, I can do very good job, help as many as possible, and everyone happy. So the more people know, the more people come to ask me to help, right? And then more people come to ask, and then I get older, my energy level going down. So what happened? I'm not feel happy to help many people. So I try to deny the people just know me recently. And slowly, more and more people know, and more people come. And my energy will go lower because I have no time to rest, no time to recharge. And also, no time to eliminate toxin in my body. So I try to stay away, try to limit, don't contact to people, not in my relative family, right? And when I get older, I try to cut it down. Until the point I'm so tired, so exhausted, so I try to stay away, to hide from everyone. Even though my family member, when I saw them come to me, they may ask me to do something, so I try to hide, right? Run away before they come to us. The same thing like our liver. When it's young, when it's fresh, when it's in the healthy state, it has to take care of the digestive system. It has to help for the local immune system. It has to help for the circulation system. It does many different functions. And then because we just keep bringing more and more toxin in the food we eat, in the drink we drink, in the environment, especially for people abuse protein, for people abuse the new synthetic medicine. You see? So it becomes more tired when more and more toxin, more and more chemical come in. And to a point, it cannot handle anymore. So that's why, okay, whatever we bring it in, it denies right away. So that's why some food we take before, no problem. Some environment we live before, no problem. But now when we get older or when our body totally blocked, now we expose that and it reacts right away. We have allergies right away when we expose to that. So that message will tell us we need to relax. We need to detox our body. We need to help it to restore the condition as before. And also, we are living in the illusion state. As you see, when we think that we have all the topical condition, we think that it's just a topical at the medical system definition. When we have allergy, when we have eczema, when we have any skin condition, they consider this is a topical, but, and then they say no cure for that. Did that make sense? If that is the topical, that means it's just on the superficial level. So it must be very easy to treat, right? If it's internally, in your spinal, in your organ, in your brain, in the main cavity, main function, okay, it's very difficult to find out and to treat. It makes sense, but now it's topical. It's very superficial, but we cannot treat for that. So that it no sense, because we cannot recognize the cause of that, the underlying cause of that one. But if we cannot recognize, how can we transform? How can we treat? And as you see, we think we have a shower every day, maybe once a day, maybe twice a day. Our skin looks great, right? But we don't know that how much toxin accumulate in our body. Have you ever seen the equipment can help to detox your body? You see, after 15 minutes, after 30 minutes, it looks like the oil when you have an oil change in your car. The chemical coming out, the bad gas coming out, the cholesterol coming out, and sometimes for some people eating fresh food like sushi, like they eat raw fish. In other countries, when people have to expose into the river or to the dam, it has some parasite. Some parasite, okay, they live in the muscle, can be drawn out by this machine. So if we not look deeply, we cannot recognize all the toxin in our body. And we wait to the last minute, like our body, like a cup of water. Every day we put in one drop. We don't see anything, right? Until the last drop, only 1 or 2 drops, it will pure out. So we have to learn how to recognize, how to look deeply inside before it's too late.
What is that machine?
Yes.
This machine, it yields a very basic, simple technique. And we will go deeper about the mechanism of that. But you know, as I told you, even though the whole body, right, is comprised by many different systems, many organs, and each organ is comprised by many cells. Every single cell is comprised by many different layers, many compartments, many molecules. And each molecule is comprised by many different organs. Each organ is comprised by the nucleus and the electron circulate around, right? So if we look deeply, everything will be moving all the time, and all that is the electrical force or the movement of the wave. Depends on the frequency, it will condense into certain level. So the same, our body, we see, okay, we have a stable body, the physical sitting here still, but actually it keeps moving all the time at the microscopic level. So inside of our body, in every single cell, the electron always move, and the ion always move. When we eat, especially the food with a lot of additive chemical, when we cook improperly, all of the organic now it transforms into inorganic, And if our body cannot absorb that, cannot eliminate that, it gets stuck in what we call the interspace. I mean between the cell. And some of the very, very small particle or very small molecule can get through the cell membrane to get stuck inside the cell. So this machine, the three different mechanisms, it creates a small current about 1 to 1.5 ampere. So that current will go through our body. So it makes the cell move faster, circulate evenly, and it will draw out on whatever particle gets stuck in there. Secondly, because this will break the water into the two different ions, H plus and OH minus. It will have a little bit sodium chloride there, and it breaks down sodium plus and chloride minus. And from that, that ion will travel through the current into the body, into the cell, and it will combine by the ion form, by the bond, ion bond, okay, and we pull out whatever inorganic molecule gets stuck in there coming out. It also, when the current moves, it will create what we call the electromagnetic field, and that will help to pull out on the molecule out. So it's very simple, it's not difficult, but we have to know how to use it proper way and the proper current. So in our body, it has at least 3 different layers of toxin accumulation. The first and the more concentrate, that means inside of our intestinal tract. Right? You think so? Because our body, it has many different mechanisms of transportation. But one of the most useful in our body is the gradient, wherever higher you go to the lower. So the nutrition in the gastrointestinal tract all the way high down in the organ or in the cell, so that when it go through. And the same thing, the toxin in the intestinal tract, it much higher in the tissue, and it much higher than in the bloodstream. So whenever the nutrition going through, the toxin will go through. So this is the more concentrated area of toxin, especially the large intestine. So the second layer, the place where a lot of toxin in our muscle, in the inner space between the cell, between the organ. And lastly, inside of the circulation system, in the flush. So that's why we have three ways to detox our body from the material. The first, we will do the detoxification through the stop eating solid food. We will use the liquid. And we will explain that later on in the chapter of how to detox our body and what method is the best one. Not only to detox in general, we have a way to detox the liver, the gallbladder, the kidney. The second way, we detox the interspace by that machine. And the third one, that machine not only can help to detox interspace, it can help to detox inside the cell and in the blood, but it's minimal compared to the dialysis. Dialysis, it just can help in the blood only. But and then we will learn the advantage and disadvantage of each method. If we don't know sometimes we get trapped into the bad cycle. You see, for example, we know that the more concentrated toxin in our intestinal tract, right? From that it go into the interspace between the muscle, the cell, and from that it may go through directly through the circulation system to the blood. So if we not detox, we not clean up this tube, all the toxin will get into the bloodstream, and when it gets into the bloodstream, it will circulate to everywhere in our body. So it will dump all the toxin to all the organ and all the space. But if we don't know how to detox, we make that cycle become the bad cycle again. Everyone drink tea bag, you know, right? When we have a cup of water clear, we put the tea bag in and we observe for a few minutes. What we can see, the color coming out and the smell coming out. And then if this is the glass cup, we can see some particles slowly going out into the water, right? Why is that? The gradient of that substance in this bag much higher than in the water, right? And then because it has water penetrating, because the water in the cup higher than in the bag. So the water come in, that substance coming out. The same thing in the intestinal tract. If we don't know how to drink the water correctly, if we don't know how to detoxify our body correctly, we end up the same thing in here. So back to the three ways of detoxifying our body. If we do the dialysis, but if we not detox our intestinal tract, you draw out the toxin in the blood. That's good. But because the concentration of the toxin in the blood all the way the lowest point, and in the intestinal tract all the way the highest. So if we just keep drawing out by the dialysis way, the toxin coming out through that, the toxin in the intestinal tract just keep going in. See, so it will go back to the cycle. The same thing, if you drink a lot of water, you think, especially in the Western, the doctor told you that, okay, you drink more water, the more water you drink, the better, right? At least 2 liters a day. But is that true? No. If we don't know how to modify that, if you don't know how to listen to your body, if you don't know how to learn to practice the middle way, totally wrong. Because in our audience, we are small, you are big, I'm strong, you are tall. I can adapt to any environment. I wear very soft, very thin. You feel cold, you are the jacket, right? So the condition, the physical condition of each person is totally different. The weather between the summer and the winter different. The diet of each person different, right? So if everyone drinks 2 liters a day, inappropriate for everyone, for every season. And secondly, if we don't know how to detox our body, the more water you drink in, the more toxin will penetrate through the intestinal tract faster and easier. Yes, it can help to detoxify through the kidney, through the skin. But and then, the more it eliminates through the kidney and through the skin, the more toxin will penetrate. The same mechanism at the Tibet. So if we not have an opportunity to detox our intestinal tract, every other method will be improper, and you get back in the bad cycle over and over again. You see? So that's why if we not listen to our body, sometimes we get all the advice, it does nothing. And we're not talking about some people, they have a high blood pressure. The more water we drink, the more blood volume and the blood pressure right up. You have a problem with the kidney, the more water you drink, the more edema you have. Talking about the lifespan, every single organ in our body, it has a limited lifespan. It never lives forever. It cannot work forever. So the more it has to work, the shorter it can live. Right? You look at the total, the elephant, the tiger, the monkey, whatever animal is so active, the heart rate high, the lifespan shorter. The one with very slow heart rate, the one can live longer. You see? So the same thing for the kidney. If it had to filtrate at the normal rate, we can live for 80 years. But if we drink more water, it had to filter double, 150%. That means it has to keep work all the time. The lifespan will be shorter. So we end up in a bad cycle again and again. If we not recognize, we not use correct method to detox our body. And also, as you see, our gallbladder, every single organ in our body, it has a feature, it has a job to do something. Even though it's very tiny bit, the size less than a chicken egg. But if we have an opportunity